I'll fund 10, 20, 30 of your groups to go into all of these courtrooms and do what you got to do and have your way with these people. Do not stand down to them. Do not let them intimidate you by yelling louder because they got guns. They can't shoot you in a court of law because they got the guns and you don't have a gun. They can't do that. Stop! Don't you dare scroll! Because I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we've been bamboozled in ways that you can't even imagine. From the creator who dared to question everything in Dear Mr. President comes a revelation so explosive, it will shatter your perception of reality. I'm about to tell you a story that is going to absolutely piss off a lot of people in the United States of America.
Want to know how the trick is done? Du bist ein Strawman. It's a straw man operation. You are the straw man.
This is the biggest scam ever, and your government, it thinks that you are stupid. Your local hospital thinks that you are stupid. The system is broken. It's working exactly how it was designed, just not in your favor. Garish? Welcome to the movie Dear Mr. President, Show Me the Money, a movie about the straw man. This is a story that's going to piss off 8 billion people, a story that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that a lot of you are worth 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, and more.
Okay, my understanding of the legal fiction, which is also referred to as a straw man, I believe that they actually give us a fictional entity which we can actually use or not use. And I believe this is and a lot of other researchers do as well, that this is your name in either uppercase or with a title.
So what is this legal fiction of yours? It's your twin brother or twin sister, born the same day you were. Yes, you've had a twin your whole life, which was created by contract. The birth certificate your mother and father signed when you were born was a contract. The signing of that contract gave authority to the Social Security Administration to create a legal fiction that just happens to mirror your name.
Listen, if you were worth $100 million or $200 million, wouldn't you want to know? I know, I sure as hell would. We kept it dumbed down on the 3rd and 4th grade level of education, not because we think that you people are stupid out there, but because we believe that it needs to be dumbed down so that everybody can understand it. They've dumbed me down too, okay? I'm part of this whole entire thing. We found the most elementary videos out there to tell the whole story, and we glued together that is going to absolutely leave you flabbergasted. The only thing I can tell you from this point forward is that you go get a marriage license, it's a bond. You get divorced, it's a bond. You get a driver's license, it's a bond. You get a fishing license, it's a bond. You get a hunting license, it's a bond. You get a ticket, that ticket gets traded. Ticket like a speeding ticket. Any kind of traffic violation at all. That's why the cops out there, most of them are as dumb as a box of bricks. They know nothing about nothing, and they allow this shenanigans to play out because the guy upstairs is not going to explain to them what they're really doing. The guys upstairs know how the game is played. They're making a lot of money. These cops knew out on the street what is going on, what was being perpetrated onto the American people, not to mention the fact that we got bigger fish to fry than stop little old ladies that are doing 12 miles an hour over the speed limit, who's part of the social insecurity system, the social slave system, who's still got to go to work and is pressed for time and is doing 12 miles an hour over the speed limit, and you got 9 guys with 17,000 lights around them intimidating them. I think that's wrong. There's no emergency here, okay? And they intimidate you, they bamboozle your words. And I hate to tell you, more than half of your cops know what they're doing. They know how the game is played, except they're not allowed to make the big money. They got the highest divorce rates because they have financial problems. Meanwhile, they're stopping you. They're trading all of this money that they're collecting from the public and putting it upstairs. And all these people are making all of this money. The only thing I can tell you is this. What you do from this point forward is up to you, because you should move this movie out to everybody you know. Guys, it's time to wake up. Watch the movie for whatever it's worth. Get it out there to everybody, because you know what? We have to wake up everybody. You know why? Because we're in a war. In a war, there's going to be casualties. Look, I understand what kind of risk I'm putting myself through. I get it. But the reality is someone's got to do it. And I'm not afraid of anything or anybody except for my God. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Mel Carmine podcast. Before we begin, I have something you need to see. 11 years ago in Costa Rica, I took a photograph that changed my life forever. I don't claim to speak to God, but I do believe he gave me a mission. Let me show you the photo, then you decide. If you're serious about protecting and growing your wealth, pay close attention. Looking to acquire XRP? I can help. Minimum purchase is $10,000 and there is no maximum. Whether you're investing $10,000 or $10 million, text me directly at 786-704-8817. And while you're at it, ask us how a religious irrevocable trust can get you off the grid and fully protect your assets and investments. Interested in gold and silver? For extremely competitive prices, visit carminesgold.com. Our minimum order is $50,000 and there is no maximum. We can handle virtually any size transaction. Then visit QFS1776.com for exclusive merchandise, links to our social media, and a library of 100% free videos explaining the new financial system millions are following. No hype, no paywall, just information. Don't miss our 5-star documentary everyone is talking about. Dear Mr. President, show me the money. Visit dearmrpresident.net and ask yourself, what if we show you irrefutable, irrevocable evidence in our movie that everyone with a social security number is worth hundreds of millions of dollars? Do we have your attention? The link is in the description below. Finally, join our official Telegram groups and be aware of fake Mel Carmine accounts. If anyone tells you that you must register your XRP with the so-called quantum financial system, it's a scam. Now subscribe and share this episode with someone you care about. Turn up the heat on these scammers and let's get to work. Also, scan the QR code and opt in so you don't miss any amazing workshops at Staying Alive in Cape Canaveral. Now, here's your host, Mel Carmine. I told you I have a story. My life's been one big story anyway. Another story, just part of the mix. June 6th, early afternoon, 1 o'clock, 1:30. I am in agonizing pain that I can't even explain because I was yelling as loudly as I can to the top of my lungs. Amber's never seen me like this. She's freaking out. She cannot handle certain things. I mean, I should do things more where I inclusive other people's feelings, but I don't do that because I think I'm Mr. Tough Guy. I do things my way. But at some point, I came to the realization that those 3 numbers had to be pressed, 911. And so we pressed the numbers. They come. I got a room full of ambulance people and a couple of cops. I don't know why they sent cops. I told them don't send cops, but they sent me the cops. Maybe they're going to give me a speeding ticket. Who the hell knows? Anyway, we went to the emergency room, right? We waited 7 hours, 7 agonizing hours. And finally, they had to admit me. They realized that this is what it is. And next thing I know, I'm laying in bed no longer in the emergency area, but in my actual room, one of my first rooms on the 6th floor. And here comes this handsome looking Dr. Lombarda, something like that, who operated on me. Good looking guy, late 40s, early 50s, very well distinguished, well shaved, chest out, had to play the part. Es español, he says to me. I said, sí, hablo, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué quieres? And the next thing you know, I don't know why, he started speaking English. So we start speaking in English. He said, look, you got appendicitis. It's got to come out. You're gonna, if this thing bursts, you're gone. You're going to die. So anyway, long story short, that's what they do. They got to sell you on what's real right in front of your face. It's not that trying to sell you or trying to close a sale. It's really easy to close a sale when they got you by the balls. You know what I mean? But anyway, needless to say, it's been a hell of an ordeal. Let me tell you, I got a story to tell that if you guys hang in there, you're going to die laughing. Once they scheduled me, a team of guys came to pick me up, an anesthesiologist. They got me all prepped up. They had to shave me. They needed a lawnmower because I'm fully covered with hair. Anyway, they whacked out all the weeds, and this guy comes. He goes, I'm the anesthesiologist, and you understand what's about to get ready to happen? I said, yeah, for the most part. Very professional. Everybody's in their own lane. Everybody's absolutely the utmost professional in their profession, and they come together as a team. This is like, the World Cup on steroids in one room over one man's life, me. And you knew these guys were top-notch equipment, top-notch everything. And next thing I know is I heard, hey, I'm about to hit you with the anesthesia, and boom, I was out just like that. I didn't even hear him finish saying I'm out with the anesthesia, like gone. I wake up an hour and 20 minutes later, an hour and 30 minutes later or so, in another room as if like nothing happened. I'm like waking up out of a dream. But going back to the operating room, it was like so perfectly choreographed and balanced. I mean, people showed up exactly when they needed to show up. And I was there maybe a total of about 3 minutes and 17 seconds before they hit me with the anesthesia. And then the let's call him the quarterback, the star of the show, the doctor comes in. Okay. And he comes in and boom, they get to work. And let me tell you something. When I first felt the pain, because they explained to me what they did, but visualizing it and actually going through it and not remembering going through it is completely, you're discombobulated on many ways. But I could tell you that they literally blow you up with gases and they hit you with the anesthesia, which will make you crave an incredible amount of ice. We'll get into that story here in a little bit. You're going to love it. So you wake up at your surgery, you really don't know what happens to you, except you don't know. It's like a dream. It's weird. You have no pain, and all of a sudden, boom, like somebody just hit the switch, no pun intended. And there's pain. There's tremendous pain. Except you have a problem. This word ULIS, ULIES, something like that. And I don't know what that means still today. The only thing I had going for me, by the way, was my phone and artificial intelligence. That's the only form of thing an argument that I can create with the people who are trying to take care of me. And believe me, Mel Carmine gave them plenty of arguments because they brought me to the brink of thirst. Hunger, I really wasn't worried about so much. I wanted water. I wanted cold water. I wanted ice water. I'm going to get into the ice water. So anyway, I get on the 6th floor. They bring me down to the 4th floor. They bring me down to the 1st floor. I'm in a room with this guy, George, and that's all he could say to me. Oh, it hurts so bad. Please help me. Oh, it hurts so bad. Please help me. And he had nobody there. And as sick as I am, completely out of my mind, all anesthesiaed up, all stitched up, not in any shape to fight anybody. But here I am fighting for this old man who has nobody. And I said to the nurse staff, I says, you should all be ashamed of yourselves. And here goes Amber rolling her eyes. I says, that could be your father. Nobody's assisting this poor guy. Her name was was Janet. Janet, please help. Janet, I need help. I'm in pain here. I'm in a lot of pain. And my heart was bleeding for George. Now I know his name was George because as I'm walking out the room, I said, hey Jim, how's everything going? And he stood up and goes, nope, my name is George. You can't make this shit up. But anyway, it's like along the way, I have to fight another battle for a guy that can't fend for himself because I was stronger than he was. He was bedridden. I was all drugged up and gassed up and whatever up and walking around to some extent. But I was not going to get any food for a very long time, nor water. At which point there was a whole assembly of nurses and a nutritionist lady, Darlene, I believe her name is. I fell in love with Darlene. What amazing people I met. And I had to put up an argument. And I said, look, the only people I could talk to is AI. AI tells me completely different than what the doctor says. That I'm allowed to drink, I'm allowed to do this, I'm allowed to do that. But I didn't know what that one word is, and I couldn't tell AI properly, so I never got the right answer because of that one word. And I was either mispronouncing it or missaying it, whatever. But nevertheless, and I said to the head nurse that was on the floor that day, young lady, I may have hit that poor girl a little bit too hard in front of her other colleagues. And I didn't mean to embarrass her, but I think it turned out to be like that. I said, by the way, so you went to school, right, for this stuff. You should have a lot of answers. She goes, yes. She stood up. I said, do you realize that I'm really, really thirsty, that I would give up a lot? I would give up $10,000 right now for a cup of ice that I could literally just suck on. I said, do you realize why I'm thirsty? The reason why I'm thirsty? And she said, no. I said, shouldn't you have studied this in school? But I had the answer because I had artificial intelligence. And the answer was that the anesthesia and the gas makes you extremely, extremely thirsty. I mean, there was a point where I was literally hugging 5, ice bags in bed. I was like, the ice bags became my best friend. I wish Amber took some pictures of it. I would have posted them here for your entertainment. Unbelievable. So long story short is that I was not going to get my water, but I had a bunch of people throughout that I was able to corrupt. I won't mention who, but I would just keep my eyes closed and thinking that this is one of that's on my side. And I would open up my eyes. And sure enough, as they leave the rooms, I didn't want to know who it was. There'll be a nice, beautiful, gorgeous cup of ice sitting on the desk there, waiting for me. And I would suck on that son of a bitch. Like it was my fucking, first girlfriend. Oh my God. Unbelievable. But anyway, and then they would just bring me less and less because they realized that they have to wean me off. Then I meet this young girl, Caitlin. Caitlin would walk by. She was not even my nurse. And she's by the book. She's not one of the ice smugglers, by the way. She is not one of the ice smugglers. Don't you dare fire these people. I will kill you if you do. But anyway, these people are amazing people. Caitlin would stop by and she realized that I'm in distress. So I would call, press that button a lot. And sometimes people won't come for 30, 40 minutes. They just like, fuck Mel again. We don't want to talk to that son of a bitch. So, but Caitlin would stop by in the middle of the night and she's like, hey, how can I help you? And she would help me do a few things and help me straighten out my sheets. And if the machine was beeping, she would get it to stop beeping, little things like that. Little things. Godsend. Absolute angel. Absolute angel. Which, by the way, I gave some of these people free packages to come to our Staying Alive. So I want them to experience it. She goes, oh, you're in that kind of a business. You're on the other side of us. I'm like, yeah, exactly. But it's not always foolproof, is it? But anyway, so long story short, Dave comes into the picture. Dave is one of these guys that messes with the IVs and the machines and all the computers. And as you're going through this and you're looking at the computers and you're looking at the numbers on the screen, I noticed a few times there was like a number. I looked over and the number is 1117. Like, wow. Yeah, you know. And so the thing was that they needed to get a certain amount of fluid out of you. So David says, hey, I got an idea. We're going to finagle the bagel. I've done this before, he says. I said, are we going to be successful? He goes, you betcha. So I was really excited, but I says, look, if we're going to do that, at least before you do what you got to do, can you allow me to have unlimited smorgasbord on ice? I fell in love with this ice. Like it was like melted ice from a Swiss Alp glacier that's been trapped in time for 2,800 years. You understand? It had that beautiful sweet taste at the end. It was pristine, pharmaceutical, better than pharmaceutical grade frozen ice on steroids. I can't explain it to you. So anyway, what he did was that he actually allowed me to have a bunch of ice, a bunch of water. And when he bought me like no bullshit, like 4 cups, big cups of ice and water, and I devoured it all. And I said, look, I said to him, you're going to do the procedure anyway, right? What's one more cup? He said, okay, only one more cup, Mel. That's it. After that, he goes, I'm going to vacuum you out. There's going to be nothing in your system. And we have to produce 650 milligrams of body fluid. I'm sorry, not 650, 400. But we failed and we produced 650. So we're back to square one all over again. So now it's like, the 9th of June, 10th of June, something like that. And I'm getting close to the food part here, which is really funny. And the water. You don't want to go. Anyway. So it worked. On the second try, we only produced 100 milliliters of actual body fluid, which they made me suffer another 24 hours with the tube in my nose. And then the very first thing I remember is them coming to my bed and saying, hey, would you like to order something to eat? Would you like to have some Italian ice? And they bought me Mario's Italian ice. And let me tell you, that was the best lemon Italian ice I ever had in my life. At least at that moment. When you reach a moment of desperation, you haven't had a thing to eat in a week and more, things taste amazing. Even though they're engineered and it's processed foods and it's all garbage junk, your body hasn't had it. And so they bought me sherbet, orange sherbet. I was like, could you bring me a tablespoon of whipped cream with that? And I want to mix it in, make it even more creamy. They thought that was funny. But there was a point where, I think it was on the 9th. Yeah, on the 9th. I actually called 911 on the hospital. Yeah. And I told them my situation with the water. I said, okay, we're going to call the front desk and talk to the nurse. So I didn't hear back. I didn't see the building getting surrounded by cop cars coming to Mel's aid. I called back again. I called 911 a second time. And the lady says, you're not supposed to call 911 for 2 bottles of cold water, don't you? I said, I know, but I just did. And I hung up the phone. So that's how my story ends. I dialed 911 on the hospital for 2 bottles of water.
Let's get ready to rumble. I believe they're going to release me probably this afternoon. I'm passing everything now with flying colors.
That's how thirsty I was. But that thirst brought me to the point of not remembering who I was at some points for a very brief time, even if it was for 3 seconds, it doesn't matter. Disoriented as all hell. I didn't remember who Siri was anymore. Nothing. Just because of one complication that, if that complication wasn't there, probably would not be making this video. But anyway, the next time you go to the hospital, treat these people with respect. Don't do what I do. I'm brutal. I was willing to do whatever it took to get out of there. I almost signed myself out 3 times in the interim. I was just not going to have it. And I probably would have survived. But you know what? Looking back, retrospect, I think that I did the right thing. I'm glad that I finally listened. Sorry for my look. I will look better here in the next couple of days, I promise. But right now, you'll have to deal with me as a caveman. Thank you guys. And don't forget, please watch my short little movie. I need to recruit an army of people. And if we all get serious, then serious shit is going to happen. Now, before I forget, it's really important to understand this. These movies that we make, like, Show Me the Money, this is a tool to raise money so that we could take the money that we have in a coffer and fight these bastards. Okay. So if you guys want to put me and Amber to the test, I'm giving you the best opportunity of your life right here, right now. And you want to travel around the country, or you need some expenses for gas money, hotel money, whatever. Okay. There's 360 million people in America. You can't tell me that we can't sell the movie to 1 million people. That raises $6 million. If you call me and you're one of those constitutional guys or gals and say, listen, Mel, I'm going to take you up on your offer. I'm going to go into the courtroom. I'm going to do exactly what you say. And yes, we will get it on recording. We're going to get the whole thing. We're going to show the American people what they're really worth and that they still got to go to work. We're going to get them mad as hell, beyond than mad as hell. Okay. You say, I need 5,000. I need 2,000. I need 3,000. I will disperse that money faster than shit goes through a goose. I'm here to fight these people. I'm here to fight these people because they've wronged all of us. I'm willing to be the leader of the pack. And I said it in the last video, and I'll say it in this video just for shits and giggles. I am absolutely very serious. And I don't expect that everybody who listens to me is a common law expert, 10th degree black belt, badass motherfucker with big balls. I wish that was the case, because then they would have some serious issues on their hands. Okay. I want you guys to go into the courtroom. They're going to tell you you're not allowed to record because of this and this and this and that. And they're going to throw all kinds of crazy numbers at you that are look and feel that they're the law. They're not the law. It's all bullshit. So you got to be much smarter than they are. And you got to show them where the law says that you are allowed to record, that you can record, and they cannot interfere, and that they work for us and we don't work for them. And don't cross that little railing that they have in the courtroom and get on their side. If you do that, you're in their jurisdiction of the British bar, and they're going to have their way with you. Stay on this side. If you have to project your voice, what we're trying to do is very, very simple, and I think it's a genius idea. I have a hard time falling asleep at night knowing that somebody has $200 million of my money. I don't know if you're the same way. I'm saying let's get teams. And if one courtroom tells you no, go to another courtroom, keep knocking on courtrooms until they say, okay, yes, you're allowed to do record, blah, blah, blah. What we want to do is get everything on paper, on video, proof beyond a shadow of a doubt, irrefutable, irrevocable, undeniable evidence for the world to see that the United States is running a scam with the birth certificate, and that we are all worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and some of us are worth billions of dollars. And that's not far-fetched. It's all real. We know it's real. We just want to prove it to the world, and we want our fucking money. I want boss kind of people with balls, okay, to go into these courtrooms and start raising hell for all of us. I know that we could do it. If you guys follow my lead and you're able to do A, B, and C, go into the courtroom, record, convince them that you will record, convince them that the black robe that they're wearing is your robe, not their robes. Convince them that their balls is your balls. We got them by the balls, not the other way around. Convince them that you're going to do this because that's what the law says, the law of the republic, the Constitution. When you convince them of that and they allow you to proceed, and you go to the pages where it shows all the money that we're worth, okay? And you guys know how to get to those pages. If you need help, 786-704-8817. I will make sure that I will get you all the right information, where to go, how to do it, et cetera, et cetera. But most of you guys probably know more than we do, which is what we're banking on, okay? And once we prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt, in not just one courtroom in Virginia and one courtroom in New Jersey, but across every state, I like to have one court case that talks about, and we're going to take those pieces and turn them into the final movie, but with a class action lawsuit filed that is our money, and we want our fucking money. You understand? If you want your money, and you believe me, I believe I can get you to your money. But we all got to work together. So hopefully you guys will listen to that movie. It's a short movie, like 9 minutes, 10 minutes. I forget how long it is. Listen to it very thoroughly. Listen to it more than once. Pass it out there. Get it to as many common law guys with big balls as quickly as possible. And let's get the show on the road. This has never been about for money for me. This has been about correcting a wrong. This is about that if we win, or when we win, and when they give us our money back. Think about that. Think about being victorious for a change, and that there's a ruling worldwide because somebody somewhere in Florida decided to do something about it, and a bunch of people joined on board, and then a bunch more people joined on board, and we started causing havoc. Yeah, we can have a major effect, but I can't do it by myself. I really can't. The reality is, you can't tell me that out of 360 million people, we can't find 1 million to watch the movie for $6. That raises $6 million. I'll fund 10, 20, 30 of your groups to go into all of these courtrooms and do what you got to do and have your way with these people. Do not stand down to them. Do not let them intimidate you by yelling louder and because they got guns. They can't shoot you in a court of law because they got the guns and you don't have a gun. They can't do that. But always stay on this side of the jurisdiction, remember, okay? And make sure you have the facts. Make sure you practice the facts. Make sure you go in armed. Make sure you go in to win decisively.
A few moments later.
Surprise! I told you I would shave. But anyway, guys, listen, everything always starts with the power of one. I cannot sit here and know what I know and know that it's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and think that you guys are just going to roll over and play dead and run away and go back to your slave jobs, even though you all know you're worth 100, 200, 500 million dollars. I can't believe that. I can't believe that they have enslaved humanity to this level of complacency. Everything starts with the power of one. Everything. One person telling 10 people telling 10 people each. But if you tell them like this, hey, dude, do you know you're worth $117 million? Let me show you this movie. No, man, you got to get excited about it because a lot of you know exactly what I know, and you know it's true. Yeah, even those nurses, that they had no idea. As a matter of fact, oh my God, one of the nurses was sitting at my bedside, and I said, we started talking about, what do I do for a living, whatever. And I said, I'm a movie maker. I just made a movie called The Straw Man. She goes, I know about The Straw Man. I said, you're a rare bird. So anyway, she wanted the name of the movie. She was going to go watch the movie. Her boyfriend took her down the rabbit hole, the whole 9 yards. But if we get excited about this, one person telling 10 people, just like network marketing, we can have a major effect, folks. Believe you me, we have so many projects that we want to do. At this point, you can't just say, you know what, I'm going to make a few $1 million and disappear. A few $1 million ain't nothing. How far are you going to go? Inflation's up by, 700%. From 10 years ago, 700%. Where are you going with $1 million, $2 million? You ain't going very far. Very logical. So we depend on you to tell the people. And if you haven't seen this movie, you're watching this for the very first time, and you haven't seen the movie, Dear Mr. President, Show Me the Money, dearmrpresident.net. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Go watch the movie. You will find out that we're all worth this money. They bamboozled us. It's all in the movie. It's an amazing movie. It's got countless 5-star reviews. We've paid for ads on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram to try to push the movie along. And they keep giving our money back. Say, no, we can't have this content out there. We cannot have the slaves find out that they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Here's your money back. We don't need your ad money. Thank you. This is what we're up against. That's why we're coming to you, the people. Folks, the question is, can we count on you? Because I don't believe we've come this far to lose. I really don't. Godspeed to all of you. And thank you to all the nurses who took care of me at the hospital. I love all of you. Thank you. Oh, by the way, before I forget, when the nurses found out that I called 911, I asked David, which is one of my archangels at the hospital, and I said, has this been done before? He said, Mel, yes. You're not the first one to call 911 on the hospital for no water. I said, shit, I got to outdo this guy, whoever that person is, and call the SWAT team on you guys. Anyway, it was a good laugh. But anyway, thank you guys.